All right, let's talk about Red Sonja 2025. I just got done watching it, and I'm going to get right to the point here. This movie is a mishmash of Princess Mononoke and Gladiator. It's Princess Mononoke meets Gladiator. So in the beginning, I'm going to spoil the movie too. In the beginning, we see the scene where Red Sonja gets separated from her family when the village gets attacked. And then about 8 years later, she's all alone. She's grown up in the forest, and she's a forest orphan. She's grown up in the forest. She's learned the ways of the forest. She's learned, apparently, everything she knows about combat from the forest. We see her trap a squirrel, and she says, "Thank you for your sacrifice, Mr. Squirrel." And then she goes and talks to an Asherah pole, which looks very much like a godswood from Game of Thrones. There's a lot of references in this movie to other movies. And then she sees some poachers come by, and she hides, and she goes to seek them out. And they kill some animals, some huge mythical animals. And she lays her hands on one of them and says, "Oh, Asherah, I pray you stop the suffering of this animal." And then it dies. And then she goes to find the poachers. And where does she end up? She ends up in Irontown, just like in Princess Mononoke. And what are they doing? They're mining the ground. They're cutting down the forest. They're destroying stuff. They're destroying the sacred forest that she lives in. So anyway, then shortly after that, the movie becomes Gladiator. We even get to hear the line, "The Emperor expects to be entertained," from one of the characters in the movie. Yeah, "Are you not entertained?" says Cameron Crowe, whatever his name is, Russell Crowe. And this is it. He wants to be entertained. And this is the scene where she comes out. And we all saw in the trailer where he held up the thing like, I guess he was joking, and everybody thought, oh, they're not going to put her in the bikini. But she is in the bikini, and she's got a wooden sword and shield. And then she goes to fight. And there's one scene in here where it's literally like a ripoff of the first episode of Rings of Power, where she's fighting this monster. It's very similar to that. I mean, who's ripping off Rings of Power? Apparently this movie is. Then there's like a fake-out death scene, kind of like from Chewbacca from The Last Skywalker. Is that the name of it? The Last Skywalker. Yeah. Who's ripping off The Last Skywalker? This movie right here. All right. So, but anyway, if you watch this movie and you're like, well, how does this happen? Why does this happen? That can't happen. That's a plot hole. If you go through this movie looking through for that kind of stuff, you're not going to have a good time. You just got to approach the movie for what it is. And what it is a mishmash of Princess Mononoke and Gladiator and a whole bunch of other things. There's one character even says, Red Sonja's like, "You don't have to come with me. I'm going to go do it by myself." And her band of merry men are like, "Well, of course we're going with you. We're going to fight." And one of them even says, "This is a good way to die." This is a good way to die. That's very close to, "This is a good day to die," which is what the Klingons would say. So we're ripping off stuff here. Now, at the end of the movie, towards the end of the movie, I'm going to tell you what happens. So close your ears if you don't want to hear it. She gets stabbed in the stomach. Just like what happened in Ahsoka. The lady got stabbed with a lightsaber. What happened in Obi-Wan Kenobi? The lady got stabbed with the lightsaber. And they all survived. This lady, her magical horse, where did she get that horse? Don't ask questions. Just watch the movie. Like I said, if you ask these kind of questions, you're not going to have a good time. Where did she get this horse? It's like a pack animal, too. It's got reins and all kinds of stuff that you need, like a saddle and all that stuff. Where did this horse come from? How long has she had this horse? Well, anyway, this horse takes her back to where we were in the beginning, the magical godswood, and basically throws her into the river, into the water, and she has a vision, and she comes back to life. And then there is a big twist for who the villain is, and if you don't want to hear who the villain is, well, close your ears. The villain is one of her compatriots, right? When, at the beginning of the movie, her village was being attacked, she let go of a little boy's hand, and they got separated. And she says, "If only I had held onto your hand tighter, things wouldn't turn out the way they did." Well, how did things turn out? Things turn out where that boy grows up to become the evil emperor. How did he become the evil emperor? Again, don't ask these questions. The movie has its own internal logic and explains that a little bit, but not a lot. And then, after that, after that, after the Emperor dies, Red Sonja is all like, I'm taking off. I want to see the world. When I was in the forest, I wanted to see my people. Now here you are. Now I want to see the world. So she's not very content with seeing her people. She's met her people. Now she's like, I'm going. And one of them actually says, I hear the king of the Sumerians is looking for good people. So that's a reference to Conan. So she rides off, and then there's a fade to black, and you think, oh, that's it, it's over. Nope, there's a coda, there's a little epilogue. And you see the mountains, the cold mountains like it's in Tibet. It could be Tibet. And then we're in a bar. We're in a bar, and people are drinking, and it's Red Sonja. She's drinking, and she's throwing down money. And she's drinking, and she's throwing down money. It's just like Raiders of the Lost Ark, isn't it? Where Indy had to go get the girl, Ravenscroft's daughter from Tibet. And she's having drinking game and throwing down the money. And she's winning. And Red Sonja was winning. And then all of a sudden, somebody busts in the door and says, Red Sonja, we need you. And that's the end of the movie right there. But so if that spoiled it for you, well, too bad. I told you I was going to do that. But the main point here is, number one, don't look for plot holes because you're just not going to have a good time. Number two, the movie isn't really that bad. It's what it is. It's just content. You know, as some people would say, it's just content. You know, you watch the movie, you have fun, you enjoy it. You interact with it. You might interact with it like with I don't know, what's that, Rocky Horror Picture Show, by like throwing stuff at the screen and going, boo, why did that happen? Or maybe it's sing and dance with it, I don't know. But anyway, it's not that terrible of a movie. It is what it is, as I said, and what I really think it is in its most distilled aspect is it is Princess Mononoke meets Gladiator. It's this whole purity of the forest and the gods of the woods meeting the destruction of man and his technology. And then it's a sword and sorcery epic with a la Gladiator, you know? And that's really it. That's my review of Red Sonja 2025. I hope you like it. I hope you liked my review, at least. Anyway, that's it. Bye-bye.